Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Thou members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served. Thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us the vision of our country, fair as it might be. Country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor. Country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with. Country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving. Country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, we move to item 4. We commence with the correction of votes and proceedings of Tuesday, July 5th, 2022. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5, page 6, page 7, page, yes, leader.
Speaker, page 7, number 16, the Honourable Asante Kwadwo, to whom Member of Parliament, he's I've confirmed details of it, and it was supposed to have returned today, but it's been marked absent. So he should rather be captured.
Has he filed his leave of absence with the table office? If he has filled the form and filed same, they will take the appropriate correction.
Yeah, I can confirm that. That has been done, and it was approval. And apart from him, number 18, Honourable Esiama Ejei Nana Amadukua. Her leave of absence starts from the 5th and expires on the 13th of July. Again, the Honourable Benham, number 23, Benham John Jabba. His leave of absence starts from 22nd of June and expires on the 23rd of July. So, drawing the table up.
I think what you should do is to make sure that the approved application to be absent are brought to the attention of the table office so they effect the appropriate correction.
Speaker, I'll take it clear.
Page 8. Yes.
Speaker, same on page 8, number 57. The Honourable Member for Yagba Kubori was in the chamber yesterday. And then Honourable Sanid, 54. I signed his leave of absence. He was going to the Western region for the present commission of the railway project. So he's supposed to be absent with permission, 54. And then the Honourable Aziz Myong was also in the chamber yesterday, but have been marked absent. Thank you, Speaker.
Very well. Appropriate corrections will be effected. Page 9. Page 10. Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, sorry to bring you back to page 7. Our colleague, Honorable Agaga, I think should be absent with permission because I know he's got permission, but I think I'm not sure why he didn't get to the table of it. So at least take note, then we'll rectify that. Honorable Agaga.
James Agaga.
Yes, James Agaga.
I've noticed that. Just that. I'm sure if we bring it to the attention of the table office,
they will rectify. Okay.
The appropriate correction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Yes, Honorable Member for Southern.
Speaker, page 14. And motion number 10, the motion for adjournment. It should read that this Honorable House be now adjourned. Be now adjourned. Thank you.
What is wrong is what is here.
Speaker, the adjourn should be in the past tense. Be now adjourned. Yes.
This is a report of yesterday. The motion was moved yesterday, and is that the House do now adjourn. And you're saying it should have been made now adjourn. Be now adjourn. Do now adjourn. Be now adjourn. That's an alternative, but I think they are both correct. Thank you. Page. Yes, Honorable Member for Kwadaso.
Honorable Speaker, respectfully, page 16, minor correction on items Roman numeral, item 3 Roman numerals X and XII. District Finance Officer, there should be a space. And I see this also on page 17, 18, 20, and 21. So if they can take their time and separate those words. Thank you.
Very well. I think that error occurs from item X all through up to the end of page. The table office will effect the appropriate correction. Yes. Honorable Member for Akan. Buem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the same page 16, item 3, Roman number 3. The name is Mrs. Angela Oforiwa Alowute. The A after W is missing. Thank you.
Very well. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. Page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. Page 27. Page 28. Page 29. Page 30. Page 31. Page 32. Page 33. Page 34. Page 35. Honourable members, subject to the corrections already suggested, the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, July 5th, 2022 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. We have one official report. That is the official report of Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Any corrections, please? Any corrections? Very well, honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official report of Tuesday, June 21st, 2022 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. Item 5, questions. The first set of questions are to be answered by the Honourable Minister for Interior. You may take your seat now, Honourable Minister. Yes, Honourable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your indulgence, my colleague has asked me to ask this question on his behalf, and with your indulgence and that of the House.
Which question? I haven't called out any question yet. Very well. Now the Minister is on his seat, so I'll call out question number 901. In the name of the Honourable Member for Justice Chudumasi. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence out of the House, my colleague, Honorable Bawa Bremer, addressed Chudumasi, will be grateful if I could ask this question on his behalf. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior when bodyguards assigned to members of Parliament will be properly equipped to carry out their mandate.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, following my directive to the Police Administration to provide armed guards for 200 members of Parliament, the Police Administration established a police steering committee to see to the implementation of the policy. The committee, among others, identified the logistical and accommodation needs of the personnel assigned as armed bodyguards to MPs. The personnel were selected and taken through 2 weeks basic combat and weapon handling training at the Foreign Police Unit. Upon completion of the training, most of the guards were provided with pistols and the necessary logistics required for the protection of the respective MPs. Mr. Speaker, available police records indicate that 62 police guards assigned to MPs are yet to be issued with pistols. This is attributed to the fact that there have been exponential demand for the supply of arms from the armour of the police to the police personnel assigned to be bodyguards for MPs, judges of the Supreme Court, ministers of state, and senior police officers. Efforts are, however, underway to procure additional arms and ammunition for the Ghana Police Service to enable and cater for the remaining 62 bodyguards and others assigned to the judges of the Supreme Court, ministers of state, and senior police officers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister, the remaining 62 that he mentioned, how soon will they be provided with the sidearms?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are in the process of procuring sidearms, and this Parliament has actually, on both sides, worked to support the request of security agencies. What we are now going through is the procurement processes. And Mr. Speaker, sometimes when we are moving these things, from one country to the other. You can imagine how many times I have to sign to actually testify or support or confirm that those arms are meant to come to a sovereign country and for legitimate use. But as soon as we get those arms, we will make sure that the 62 personnel are provided with arms.
Yes, you're done. Very well. The next question, number 902, is also in the name of the same honorable member. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Interior when the state will pay compensation to the victims of the drug shooting incident, including the families of the two deceased persons. Thank you.
Yes, honorable member.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, after the three-man committee set up to investigate the unfortunate incident, Inedra had submitted their report. My ministry wrote to the Ministry of Health, informing the ministry of the three persons sustained various degrees of injuries during the Inedra disturbances on 29 June 2021 to facilitate the process of compensating the victims. The Minister of Health subsequently requested that Konfonochi Teaching Hospital, which attended to the victims, submit a report on the extent of injury to the victims to inform the decision on the quantum of damage compensation due them. Mr. Speaker, a follow-up on my ministry's letter to the Minister of Health revealed that the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice had also requested the Ministry of Health to set up a medical board to assess current medical conditions of the three other injured persons and to state any permanent disability as a consequence of the shooting incident. Mr. Speaker, I am informed that the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice has received medical report from Konfonochi Teaching Hospital on the injured persons to determine the parameters due the victims. Notwithstanding, the Office of the Attorney General has requested victims to provide them with all medical receipts on which they are awaiting response. Mr. Speaker, the three victims will be compensated when all administrative processes are completed. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, permit me to inform the House that families of the two deceased persons have been compensated.
Yes, honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister whether the medical bills of those who were injured was paid by the state.
Yes, honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the order was that the medical bills be paid. But as you realize from my answer, the Attorney General's office is asking the victims to come forward if there are any payments that have been made. And I believe from that request, we'll be able to tell if payments have been made or not.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the Minister's own answer, it's been well over 1 year since this incident happened. And if it's still taking both the Ministry and the Attorney General's Department and Ministry of Health more than a year to gather the relevant documents, when will the Minister assure this House that this putting documents and whatever that is needed to enable them to pay compensation will be done and compensation paid?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the Honourable Member of Parliament that we are committed to dealing with the matter expeditiously. As you can see, in the case of the death, zero, there is no degree of injury to be determined. We have dealt with that and paid the families. We have done that. In the case of these injured persons, the victims first started by going to different health facilities And therefore, we needed to follow up and make sure that in the end, we got through the whole chain and got to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, which is a referral hospital. Now, Mr. Speaker, you realize that there are laws guiding the assessment of compensation for injured persons. And so we have to go through the process. In the case of the death, it was straight the Ministry of Interior, and we dealt with it. But these injured persons is multi-ministerial. You have to have health come in and the Attorney General come in. But as at this stage, what I know is that the Attorney General is waiting for responses from the victims of any, payments that they have made. And I believe immediately that happens and it comes to us, we'll deal with it expeditiously. I want to say that the delay in the meantime is regrettable, and I'll assure you that as soon as we get it, we would pay.
Your last one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, whereas I appreciate the minister's understanding and also mutually apologizing for the delay, I remember very well when this incident happened, he and his team visited the IDRA, they visited the families, the committee they set up had done thorough work. So issue of identifying who was injured and the extent of degree of injury is no longer an issue. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to be certain, when should this House look forward to you making sure that compensations are paid?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I absolutely agree that immediately the incident took place, moved to the to IDRA, and then we had to set up a committee. The committee went through its hearing and finally came out with a report and recommendations. When it did, there were two groups, as this question has been able to distinguish: those who had died, two of them, and then those who were injured. I want to reiterate the fact that those who had died became a matter for one ministry to deal with, which we dealt with. In the case of the injuries, we have to go through the procedures, which I believe if I don't, there might be a question filed again by this House for me to come and answer. Accordingly, we have decided to deal with that. As my report shows now, if the MP for IDRA would assist us, the only thing that is outstanding now is the victim available to the Attorney General's office. Whatever payments they might have made or whatever expenditure might have incurred by themselves, that is what is outstanding now. But the medical board was established, the report has come to the Attorney General's, and we're waiting to, as soon as possible, pay. So what I can say is that I would say as soon as I get the report, we would pay. But for now, the Attorney General's office would have to receive the information. And Mr. Speaker, I would not be in a position to answer for the other two ministries for now. But believe me that we will do it as soon as we can.
Yes.
Speaker, reading the last paragraph of the minister's answers, it says, the two families of the deceased have been compensated. I wish to know from the minister if he can elucidate on that and what guided the composition of this compensation.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the compensation that was paid to two families was a lump sum of 250,000 per each family. And Mr. Speaker, must emphasize that no amount of money can compensate for the loss of lives of people. And in these matters, as much as possible, what we try to do is to make sure that we can ameliorate the situation of the affected families. We did it based on the fact that dependents were going to lose or have lost their support, and as much as possible we tried to do what was within reasonable means and also within some precedent, and we came up to the 250,000. And I want to say that it also involved, sending delegations, to the families. It will be arrogant for you when people have lost their relatives for you to land one morning with a check. You'll be fortunate if you left in one piece. So we set up a committee, and there were prominent personalities, including the chief imam, and we went back and forth, and at the end, with the support of the chiefs in the area, there was finally this determination and presentation at a Deba, and I want to thank the families for graciously accepting this token for the loss of lives of their relatives. So this was what happened, Mr. Speaker.
Leader, Honorable, I'll come to you after Leader, yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this unfortunate incident happened on 29 June 2021. We are now in July, which means 1 year, July 2022. We are now talking about medical report. We are now talking about the fact that the 3 victims will be compensated when all administrative processes are completed. Can the minister tell us what is he going to do to ensure that we bring finality to this situation? Because it has unnecessarily been delayed. So what are you going to do to ensure that we bring finality to this situation? Because people, they have incurred losses, they have suffered degrees of injuries, and they have to be compensated. What are you going to do practically to ensure that we bring finality to this situation? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I wonder whether it's different from any of the answers given earlier. I think your question, the answers have already been given. What steps he will take, how soon he will do it, he has already answered all that. So, yes. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate my answer. What is outstanding now is the response from the injured persons, the victims, of any payments or any expenditure that they might have incurred. Because the assessment that is done by the medical board that was set up by Confirmation Teaching Hospital and Ministry of Health assess the condition of the victims themselves. Now, the Attorney General is saying, beyond that, did they incur any expenses? And that's why I'm requesting the cooperation of the Honourable Member of Parliament for the area to get that response for us to proceed with the payment. That is what is outstanding. But may I remind you that you're dating as if there was an incident and nothing happened and a year passed by. No. There was a committee. The committee sat, brought its report, and we went through it. Would I want it shorter? Yes, I would. I wish all were paid by now. And the way we handled the disease case shows that we did it more expeditiously than this one. There are technical requirements that need to be met. And that is why we decided that we should satisfy the regulations. And as of now, we now want to hear from the victims themselves. Thank you.
Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, listening to the minister, he seemed to be suggesting to this august House that following that unlawful conduct of the police, which resulted in the unlawful loss of life of Nasir and Mohammed Mutala, victims had to take care of themselves. Victims had to take care of themselves because, in your words, you are awaiting medical reports to the Attorney General. Will you consider reviewing the state medical emergency policy for such victims? Because, Mr. Speaker, permit me, you have assured me innocently, I'm struggling for my life and health. I'm being told that take care of yourself, then later the state will take care of you. Minister, would you want to review the policy so that victims instantly can rely on the state for the needed support? I thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Leader, I know, in good faith, might have overlooked some part of my answer. The medical report has been submitted to the Attorney General. What the Attorney General wants to find is whether there were any expenses, not necessarily medical expenses, but if the MP can give us the go-ahead that we should cut off and move on, we will do so. Secondly, I'm aware that some medical bills were paid. I went on a visit and ordered that they be so paid. But having said so, we cannot assume that there were no incidentals beyond that. And we want to be sure that before we arrive at a decision, we take care of all these, incidentals. If the Member of Parliament can give me the assurance now that we need not wait for further information of indebtedness, as a result, we proceed. Thank you.
I think that should be sufficient. I'll move on. Question number 935. It's in the name of the Honourable Member for Bando, Mrs. De La Soa. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll ask the question on behalf of my colleague, the Honourable MP for Pando. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior when the Pando District Police Hospital will be completed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Police Office.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
You, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Pando District Police Headquarters is a project that is being funded by the Pando Municipal Assembly, and I think we need to applaud that effort. The project is a single-story building which started in 2014 with the intention of it serving as a municipal district police headquarters. The project has unfortunately stalled. The police administration has been liaising with the regional command and the Pando Municipal Chief Executive to expedite action on the completion of the project. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, please may the Honourable Minister tell us what the reasons are for the stalling of the project.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, it's being financed by the Pando Assembly. I'm not privy to the reasons why it has stalled, except to say that they don't seem to have the wherewithal to continue. And so the specific reasons why the project has stalled will be more in the knowledge of the Assembly than the Ministry of Interior.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, The Honorable Minister indicates in his answer that the police administration has been liaising with the Pando Regional Command as well as the Pando Municipal Chief Executive. Please, will you be able to tell this House whether they've indicated any timelines when the project can be completed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I remember you are assuming that indeed the minister is in contact with the assembly. But I think this question appropriately belongs to the district assembly, or at most the minister for local government. If you wish to ask another question, you may please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll take the second question on behalf of my colleague, Honorable De La Sua.
Very well. Let me call it then. Question number 936, in the name of the honorable member for Pando. You may now ask it on her behalf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior steps being taken to provide a police post for Gbefi community in view of crime in the area and the recent death of a German investor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker. Gbefi is about 6 kilometers from the district capital, Golowaki, where the district police headquarters is situated and oversees the activities in Gbefi. The area has a low crime record. However, considering the recent murder of a German investor in the area, the police administration has accepted the recommendation to establish a police post. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question was when? Honorable Minister, the question was when? You have accepted the responsibility to when?
Mr. Speaker, the police administration is involved in the restructuring nationwide because the coverage of police area is 43%. We want to raise it to about 60%. So you would have heard in the news about creation of new offices and all that. It would also be part of it. But as I stand now, I cannot tell specifically the date on which that will be done. So, but all I can assure is that it's part of the general reorganization for which we are seeking support and financing to make sure that it happens. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you're done. Very well. I'll move on to question number 939. The name of the honorable member for Buem, E.D. Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Interior plans the ministry has to build a modern fire station to serve the Jasika municipality in the Oti region. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right on Mr. Speaker, government has set for itself to modernize the Ghana National Fire Service so as to position the service to very well, effectively carry out its mandate. Within the framework of modernizing the service and within the medium to long term, about 90 to 100 more fire stations are to be established throughout the country. This is to ensure that the target that the service has set for itself of improving and reducing its response time to fall within the internationally accepted time of 5 minutes is achieved. Right on, Mr. Speaker, the Jasikan Fire Station is presently located and housed temporarily in the first floor of the North Transvolta Cooperative Union building, where the service shares with produce buying company. The chief of the area has recently allocated a 2.5 plots of land to the Ghana Fire Service for the construction of a modern fire service to be located near the Circuit Court and opposite the Presbyterian Church. The honourable member can be assured that within the medium to long-term plans of the Ghana National Fire Service, a modern fire station will be constructed to serve not only the people of the Jasika municipality, but all communities within the environs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, it's very true that we do not have any very serious facility. The minister described as a story building. Indeed, when it rains, just a small rain, they have to put all kinds of buckets to collect water in the room they are using as an office. Within the medium term, if the minister can give us an assurance what the medium term here is the medium term maybe 4 months time, 1 year, or what? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that I cannot proceed without reiterating my appreciation to the chief of the area for providing the land. Mr. Speaker, medium is not a year, it's later than a year. And therefore, I would crave the indulgence of my colleague. If we can see how probably the Assembly and others can come in to assist, I'm sure we'll be able to expedite action on that. But you can see that the program is to establish 90 to 100 fire stations. And therefore, the medium is not a year, I can assure you, but it can be expedited in a shorter period if we are able to work together to get the support of the community. The chief has set the tone, and I would really love that we can do something about it. But I can assure you that with the enthusiasm that you are showing, medium term could have yours be a priority. But before then, I'm not sure if we can do that. And I encourage you to support the financial bills that we bring here to enable us to build that one.
This is for Pando. Yes, this is for Buem. So can you finish?
Speaker, I want to find out from the minister. The chiefs have truly provided land. The area have recently discovered some minerals. There's a lot of institutional concentration in that area. Not even the fire engine is functioning. Can the ministry, under some special emergency, deal with such a situation, considering the huge institutions that we have in that area? A number of secondary schools, College of Education, GES, Regional Head Office, many other institutions within that catchment area. And it's a highway also. Can the ministry do something under their emergency fund to get a station for them outside of these 90 to 100 he's talking about?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker has already indicated that I am prepared to prioritize this request within the context of the medium to long term. But the Honourable Member of Parliament has indicated that some minerals and what have been found in. I believe that probably that should be, a magnet, should be a factor to promote, some, charitable or business people to come. Of course, the Minister for Lands, I'm sure if you contact him and he finds that is very close that would stimulate interest and get philanthropists to come forward. For my part, I already promised you. What you have done is to fortify me in the promise that within the medium term, I'll be prepared to recommend that yours be priority. But beyond that, all financial data has to come here. And there's no medium term budget that has been approved here. I'm sure it's going to be year on year, and the budget that was last approved here did not have that. But please rest assured that within the constraints, we will make your request priority.
This is for Buem. I'm not going beyond Buem. The rules were established by the House. I'll work with the rules, please. The question number 975, the name of the honorable member for Medina. Francis Xavier Sosu. Yes.
Speaker, may I seek your leave to ask the question on behalf of my brother?
Please proceed.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior the measures being taken to increase the feeding allocation of Ghana cedis 1.80 per day with the view of ensuring prisoners' right to adequate food and nutrition in line with
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Prison Service and the Ministry has made various attempts for the upward adjustment of the feeding rate from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 cedis. I must acknowledge that this move to increase this rate precedes our coming to office. It's not as if it's just us who have seen the need to promote that. So I must acknowledge that. We are, however, yet to receive approval for that. That notwithstanding, the Ghana Prison Service supplements the inmates' feeding with produce from prison farms in order to avert malnutrition and its related problems. Thank you.
Yes.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, the Honourable Minister for the Interior has just told the House that they made several attempts to, as it were, adjust upwards the feeding grant, but they are yet to receive approval from the Ministry of Finance. I'm certain that the media review will be taken next week or thereabouts. Will he consider making further overtures to Ministry of Finance to, as it were, consider doing the upward review in the media review so that for the rest of the year we can experience an increment in the allocation to the prisoners?
Yes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yes, it's worth considering, but I would like to appeal to the House that without your support, that will not be possible. So we look forward to your support generally and specifically in this matter. Thank you.
Yeah. Speaker, thank you. Speaker, having listened to the Minister responding to this question, will he also consider introducing a policy where the prisoners can devote some time to engage in government's policy of planting for food, to supplement the stipends that central government allocates to the prison service? It will be such an important policy to initiate within our prisons so that they can cultivate food crops to supplement what they are giving. Thank you.
Yes.
Right, Honourable Speaker. I want to assure you that they have become part of that. The Minister of Agriculture has given 5 tractors and other equipment, and as you find out maybe in the next answer, we're also establishing more camp farms. So yes, they are part of the program, and That is what has enhanced the capacity to be able to produce the food to supplement it. So that is the right proposal, but to assure you that we are already doing that. Thank you.
Very well. The next question is question number 1079. That is also in the name of the honourable member for Medina. Yes.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior the state of the rehabilitation and reformation program of the Ghana Prison Service. Thank you.
Yes, honourable.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to rehabilitate and reform inmates in order to facilitate their reintegration into society after discharge from the prisons, the Ghana Prison Service continues to provide and engage inmates in various rehabilitation and reformation programs designed to equip them with knowledge and cutting-edge skills. The rehabilitation program includes formal education, JHS, SHS, and tertiary, vocational training, and agricultural practices. First, for formal education, Mr. Speaker, with respect to formal education, the records from the Ghana Prison Service indicate that 670 inmates, including 100 juveniles, are in the junior high school, while 400 inmates are enrolled in the senior high school. 26 juveniles have sat for the 2021 BECE and recorded 98% pass. 6 adult inmates who sat for same had 100% pass, whereas 9 inmates who sat for the 2021 WASI recorded 100% pass. The prison inmates tertiary education program being run at the Nsawan Medium Security Prison currently has 116 inmates, of which 13 are females. However, 23 of them have been discharged and transferred or integrated into various University of Cape Coast study centers. The program is currently in the first semester of the 2021-22 academic year. Vocational programs. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, vocational training programs designed to ultimately lead inmates to acquire MVTI trade test certificates are being run in some of the prison establishments across the country. Programs taught include hairdressing, tailoring, bread making, baking, carpentry, ceramics, auto electricals, general electricals, auto mechanics, welding, batik tie and dye making, basket weaving, kente weaving, crocheting, doormat making, ceramics and soap making. 1,375 inmates across the country's prisons, including 175 juveniles, are currently being trained in these MVTI programs. For agriculture, Mr. Speaker, some inmates are equally engaged in modern farming practices at stations designated for farming activities. This is aimed at equipping inmates with the necessary farming skills needed to compete well in the agricultural market after discharge. Currently, there are 21 farming stations across the country. These are Kenyasi Camp Prison, Doyan Kwanta Camp Prison, Forifori Camp Prison, Amanfrom Camp Prison, Ejra Camp Prison, Hiawa Camp Prison, Osam Krom Camp Prison, Akuse. Male Local Prison, Awutu, Camp Prison, Yeji, Camp Prison, Ahisam, Camp Prison, Ankafu, Prison Annex, Ankafu, Main Prison, James, Camp Prison, Mando, Local Prison, Navrongo, Central Prison, in Sawam male and female prisons, Obuasi Local Prisons, Takwa Local Prison, and Yendi Local Prisons. These stations train inmates best farming techniques in maize, palm plantation, livestock, rice, cassava farming, and other crops. These are used to supplement government's efforts in inmates feeding. Right, Honorable Speaker, reformation programs, on the other hand, include counseling services, Christian and Muslim religious services handled by service chaplains and imams. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, let me commend the Honourable Minister for such a comprehensive response to this question. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that these reforms are taking shape, especially given the figures that are benefiting from the various policies that the government through the ministry has introduced. But what struck me odd was that I didn't hear of whole prisons. Whole prisons. Recently, as members of the region, we had to support the prison, especially the female prison. So if the minister can consider roping in whole prisons to also benefit from these lofty programs that are being run by thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm aware of the support the members have given to the whole prisons endowed. Would like to move forward, propose that whole prison be gone. But I would like you to keep in touch and probably let us engage the leadership and get definite decisions.
Speaker, I'm very happy about the minister's response. And in addition to whom, we may have to add Akuse as well. So we shall engage him. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, if I may refer to the minister's answers under formal education, and Speaker, with your leave, I'll make a few quotations. Quoting from the answers, the prison inmate tertiary education program being run at the Nsawam Medium Security Prison currently has 116 inmates, and it goes on and on. I wish to know from the minister, first of all, I can confirm to this, and I want to commend the minister highly for this intervention. But there's a question of sustainability, and I wish to find out from my respected minister if he's considered a collaborative effort from the Ministry of Education as an effort to sustain this laudable intervention.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, yes, we're already enjoying support from the Ministry of Education, and may I also put on record our appreciation to the University of Cape Coast for allowing our tertiary students into their centers. What I need to also acknowledge is that if you go, especially for Ejura and now almost for Nsawam, the Church of Pentecost is investing a lot in making our prisons more friendly and more effective reformation and rehabilitation centers. They did it elaborately for the Ejura, and I can assure you that very soon similar facilities are going to be completed in Nsawam, and also Damango and others are being considered. I think I need to put on record the appreciation of the support of the Pentecost Church and the Ministry of Education, and I believe that with such support we will be able to make good our mandate to ensure that when people go to prison, they are not condemned, but they come out as better citizens. And we all will need to support them to come and help us build Mother Ghana. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. May I know from the Minister if they will consider adding ICT as one of the programs? ICT programs. ICT, information.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes, ICT is a wave, current wave and a wave of the future. And I can assure you that in the case of the Pentecost Church, we've got some beginnings of that. But certainly, we would need to add that if we don't want them to come out and be outmoded immediately. Yes, it is said. And also to commend you for the support that you gave to the President. Thank you.
Now move on. Question number 1082 in the name of the Honourable Member for Garu, Mr. Albert Akuka Alauzuga. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the question on behalf of my colleague.
Yes, proceed.
I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior the steps taken by the Ministry to help curb the cross-border crime in the country, especially cattle rustling or stealing around the Upper East region.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with other security agencies, have a robust crime prevention strategy in place to contain cross-border crimes such as cattle rustling and stealing in the Upper East region. Cross-border crimes, and particularly cattle rustling in the Upper East region, is currently under control. Right Honourable Speaker, the Upper East region during the period of January 2021 to 31st March 2022 recorded 7 cases of cattle theft. One of such cases was reported in Garu on the 29th January 2022, involving a cross-border theft of 15 cattle from Burkina Faso. The Garu District Police Command again apprehended 2 Fulani herdsmen from Burkina Faso, together with 20 stolen cattle en route to the northern region of Ghana. The 2 herdsmen are currently being prosecuted at the Garu District Court. Right Honourable Speaker, other reported cases of cattle rustling are currently being investigated by the police, whilst measures are being taken by the district security committees to control other cross-border crimes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, considering the fact that there have been influx of foreigners into this country, and recently, I don't know whether it is your ministry or one of the ministry took steps. I'm saying that considering the fact that there have been influx of foreigners into this country, particularly through the border towns, recently, I think government, through one of the ministries, took action to deport, if I can use the word, some of these citizens of different countries into this country. Don't you think it is worrying that if concrete steps are not taken to ensure that at least we don't have terrorists infiltrating in the name of either cattle herdsmen into these cities and towns that share boundaries with other countries within the sub-region?
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The concerns of the Honourable Member are spot on. Yes, we've had to deal with these cross-border activities, which is further complicated by the fact that on both sides of the borders, we have the same ethnic group across the country and actually have relatives across the country. So yes, we try to, go through the identity profiles of the people. Recently, we had some people coming into some parts of the Upper East because they said they were under pressure. And sometimes we have people coming also in the Upper West. Yes, but we are careful. And that is why sometimes we have the officers of the Ghana Immigration Service wanting to thoroughly examine some of the passengers that are on our vehicles, especially in the northern regions. And sometimes we don't enjoy the cooperation of our compatriots because they sometimes think that they are being delayed in the journeys and the rest of them. Yes, it's a warning. We are taking it seriously. And recently, the See Something, Say Something campaign is also come to help. And may I use this opportunity to thank the citizens in the northern part of the country for giving essential intelligence information and even cooperating with us to be able to get the suspects. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, on the same issue of the cooperation that exists between the ministry on one hand and the citizens who live within those regions, have there been steps taken to collaborate with our friends in the sub-region, particularly regions or countries that share boundaries with us, so that you can have that relationship in terms of identifying those who are engaged in this crime and how those crimes can be brought to book? Because my understanding is that it is not only committed only in Ghana. I believe that there could be such extension into those countries too.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana has been collaborating effectively with the neighboring countries, namely La Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Togo, and Benin. As a matter of fact, we are working together under the Accra Initiative to be able to check the extremist movements and what have you. Yes, we do that. And not only that, there are even local collaborations. For instance, just across the border, you have our security on this side and on the other side working together to be able to deal with it. Because the extremist threat is an international one, and only an international effort can fight it. If we are divided, it's not going to be easy for us to deal with it. But like I said, as you see in the answer, a number of them were actually bringing the cattle in rather than going out. And we are able to get them because the native locals are able to identify them. Because if we see cattle moving, I don't think any security officer per se will be able to tell what is happening. But the local president actually, they cooperate a lot. We do collaborate, and we hope to deepen it, the collaboration. Because without that collaboration, we will lose it against the extremists. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on. Question number 1083, the name of the honorable member for Nabdam, Dr. Mark Ked Nawani. Nabdam, yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for the Interior when the Nabdam Police Station will attain the status of a district police station.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in line with the Ghana Police Service strategy to maintain law and order, to ensure maximum security in the Upper East region in general, a number of new police stations were opened in July 2021. These new stations include the Pelungo police station within the Nabdam district. Similarly, a number of district police commands are being established. A notable amongst them is the Nangodi District Police Command in the Nabdam district, which takes charge of the Nabdam district. Right, Honourable Speaker, it is expected that once the current police restructuring arrangements regarding the setup in the Upper East region are accomplished, the Nabdam police station will be considered for elevation to a district police station. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, if we read, I think paragraph 1 of the answer, it is written, these new police stations include a Pirongo police station with the Nabdam district. If the Honorable Minister remember, I came to his office to ask for permission to build this police station. Yes, so I built this police station with my common fund, Pirongo. Yes. A modern police station with my common fund. And with the understanding that if we're able to build this police station, of course, we will attain the district status as soon as it's practicable. Because we're not getting the staff. Because we're usually allocated the staff from Balga. No! I've done my part. Even I've worded it for them. And I want to know, from your answer, it still appears vague. When they're going to do it, I don't know. Can I get a timeline for this police station? The district status.
Yes,
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, permit me to acknowledge the effort of the Honourable Member for building the station. But as I said earlier on, we had a situation where only 43% of the area was covered. I'm sure the Honourable Member of Parliament for Yeji area will tell you, we had a whole from Ejura to Yeji was all vast. But to get district status, it goes beyond the building. We need a certain number of police in the area. Right now we are training the 5,000, and from what we are saying now, once the police have an intention to elevate it, we have to give first the manpower levels. And also immediately after that, I'm sure you will come to me, Mr. Speaker, to ask for vehicles and what have you. So we want to be sure that in this general restructuring, that we are able to meet the logistical needs, personnel needs of it. So while acknowledging your intervention, we will still need to do a lot to be able to get that place to be a district. It also comes in with a particular rank of an officer to command and what have you. We are doing our best and always acknowledging the support of Parliament when it comes to security matters. I believe that as soon as possible, I cannot stand and tell you this because you might have other reasons for attacking me on other matters that we cannot discuss here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Minister. In February 2021, the national official of the Assembly was gunned down 50 meters away from the police station. And this brought up the question of the lack of staff. Can you assure me that you are going to increase the number of police personnel at the police station for me?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
I can assure you that we plan to do so. The extent of the increase is what I cannot be sure, but we will increase. Yes, it's a matter of concern. You'll be surprised, some of these gardening downs in the north, we are beginning to pick the guns from guns down south now, because we've marked them, and we are beginning to see. So it's like we are dealing with some network of gangs in the country that we are now. Yes, we would increase, but I would not want to put a quantum that will happen. We are doing 5,000. I believe this year we'll apply for more recruitment, and when we do get, then we would be able to even give more. But it's all over the place. I was in Western North, and I'm telling you, you'll be surprised that there's a lot of work that we need to do. There's a need for more security personnel than we are producing now. But thank you. We would remember and continue to support us as we've done by building and drawing our attention with these incidents. You don't have to wait for a parliamentary question. When it becomes necessary, you can come to office and we deal with them. Thank you.
Yes, you're done. Very well. Honorable Minister, we thank you for attending upon the House to answer questions. You are discharged. Now, there's one more question, and it is to be answered by the Honorable Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. The question is question number 1188 in the name of the Honorable Member for Akan, Mr. Yao Gomado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation what measures the Ministry is putting in place to stop manufacturers of cooking utensils from using e-waste and old aluminium products other than pure aluminium ingots. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there are large manufacturers of cooking utensils in Ghana that utilize pure aluminium ingots in their production process. This pure aluminium ingot is either sourced directly from Valco or imported into the country for remolding into other products, including cooking utensils. Our information on other forms of aluminum is from the refining process, where metals crushed from aluminum sheets and cast are separated into ingots and exported outside the country. This type of aluminum is mostly found on the housing of electrical and electronic waste, that's e-waste, and is not contaminated or considered hazardous. They are easily recovered by shredding or dismantling process and constitute a minute fraction of the industrial sources of aluminum ingots exported outside the country. There is another category of aluminum that is part of the base alloy metals used in the manufacture of electrical and electronic components. The recovery of this aluminum is complex and offers little in terms of market value compared to other base metals. Mr. Speaker, at this stage, I will ask of your leave to make some corrections. So even though what has been provided on the order paper is factually correct, the phraseology makes it a bit difficult. So I will say that the recovery of this aluminum is complex and offers little in terms of its market value compared to other base metals such as copper, nickel, and cobalt. instead of copper, silver, and gold, because silver and gold are not base metals. An audit of the country's e-waste recycling capacity showed an export-dominated market. For the recovery of this, again, I will make a correction. So it should read, an audit of the country's e-waste recycling capacity showed an export-dominated market for the recovery of some base metals, such as copper, cobalt, nickel, and rare earth metals, and some precious metals such as silver, gold, and platinum. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the situation in the former sector, there may be isolated cases of contaminated metal scraps, including aluminum, that are used in the manufacture of cooking utensils in the informal sector or among the local manufacturers. However, we don't have data to support how widespread this situation may be currently. However, the ministry is currently developing a circular economy approach framework where scraps and other waste types will serve as secondary sources for reuse and recycling. No matter the source, these recyclable materials should be free of contamination. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I disagree with the minister for saying that
Can they ask a question, please?
Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the minister, from his last paragraph, what measures is his ministry putting in place to ensure research is done to know the real state of the situation, as he has mentioned in his answer that they do not have the data to support it.
Yes.
Indeed. So, Mr. Speaker, these recycled models, they are actually in their infancy, and we are the proto stages of this. So we really are, even as I speak to you now, doing a lot of research in this area. This even includes plastics, where we have a lot of experience with. So that is a way to go. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I think I've also carried out a lot of research here that I would rather prefer to put this into statement for the House to debate on. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister. Thank you for attending upon the House to answer questions. You are discharged. That brings us to the end of question time for today. Yes, Honorable
Speaker. I think we are ready now to take item 11. Speaker, I will seek your leave to do that for and on behalf of the Leader of the House.
Yes, Honorable Available Leader. Do you have any?
Mr. Speaker, we had that understanding at conclave, so we can go ahead.
Very well. So item 7A, I, presentation of papers. Yes.
Reports of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana, ministries, departments, and other agencies for the year ended 31st December 2021.
The paper is duly presented. It's referred to the Public Accounts Committee to consider and report. Item II.
Reports of the Auditor General on the consolidated statement of foreign exchange receipts and payments of the Bank of Ghana for the year ended 31st December 2021.
The report duly presented is referred to the Public Accounts Committee to consider and report. Item III. The Honorable Second Deputy Speaker to take the chair.
Reports of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana Technical Universities for the year ended 31st December 2021.
The report is duly presented, is referred to the Public Accounts Committee to consider and report.
Yes. Speaker, we have just laid III and we got to IV.
Very well. So I'm told we have gotten to III. Have we done III? Okay. So let's turn to IV.
Performance audit report of the Auditor General on mental health management and care delivery in Ghana.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. We move to V.
Report of the Auditor General on the accounts of district assemblies for the financial year ended 31st December 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It is referred to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. We move to VI.
Performance audit report of the Auditor General on the management of the education of children with special needs.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. VII.
Report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana General Government for the year ended 31st December 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. We move to VIII.
Consolidated Performance Audit Report of the Auditor General on capital projects of 30 selected MMDAs funded through the DACF-RFG.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. Let's turn to IX.
Report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana pre-university education institutions for the financial year ended 31st December 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. We move to X.
Performance Audit Report of the Auditor General on fleet management of the National Ambulance Service.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and report. Let's move to XI.
Report of the Auditor General on the management and utilization of the District Assembly's Common Fund and other statutory funds for the year ended 31st December 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration. End report. We move to XII.
Report of the Auditor General on the management of petroleum funds for 1st January to 31st December 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration. End report. Yeah, Leader, are you moving to B?
So I'll seek your leave to lay 7B.
7B.
Yes.
Is the minister around? So which minister is doing for on behalf of the minister?
Speaker, if I may seek your leave for the Minister for Defense to do it.
Very well. So we turn to B.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection for the year 2021.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Gender, Children and Social Protection for consideration. End report. We move to C. Yes, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
Annual report of the Forestry Commission for the year 2019.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Lands and Forestry for consideration. End report. Do we move to D?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. D, and with your leave, to be done by the Minister for Defense.
Yes.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Akrofom District Assembly for the year 2021.
Honourable members, the annual statement has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration. End report. We move to DII.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ningo Prampram District Assembly for the year 2021.
Honourable members, the statement has been duly presented. It will refer to the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration. End report. We turn to DIII.
Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ganot Municipal Assembly for the year 2021.
Honourable members, the annual statement has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration. End report. Are we moving to E?
Speaker, I've just been informed that page 7, item G, that is 7G, is ready. Unfortunately, the chairman is not available. Speaker, with your leave, if the ranking can do the lay.
So, Honourable Leader, so are you not, we are not doing the E? We are not doing the E.
Speaker, no. We are not doing E. We will jump to G.
Then F.
No.
Very well. So, honourable members, let me invite you to page 7, item listed G. G, by the chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Education on the Ghana Commission for UNESCO Bill 2022.
Honourable members, the report has been duly presented. It is for distribution to honourable members. Are we doing the H?
Speaker, leadership has engaged And under the circumstance, I will want to move for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, 10 o'clock, the forenoon. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, that is what was agreed, so I support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honourable Member